Starting with a slip knot on my hook, I'm going to chain 10. All right, not the loop on your hook, but the actual completed chains. Let's count down. 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. The first 3 are going to count as a double crochet. And then we'll double crochet in the next 5 stitches. All right. Here's the 5. You have 1 chain left. We're going to do 6 doubles in that last chain. Two, 4, 6. All right. Now we're going to do 1 double in each of the next 5 stitches. So you're going back into the bottom of that chain there. Okay. And for this rounded edge, we've already got 2. We have the chain 3 and that first double crochet. So let's do 4 more double crochet in that same beginning chain. One more. Okay, we're going to slip stitch to this chain 3, but we should have a count of 22. So let's just double check that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Slip stitch. All right, slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 3. Actually, I'm going to catch both loops of this to make it stronger. Do that again. All right. There we go. So let's chain 3 to start row 2. That's a double crochet. Do another one in the same loop. All right, so that's 2 in there. And we're going to do 2 in the next double. Let's do 5 doubles in a row in the next 5 stitches here. Now in each of these 6 on the corner, we're going to do 2 doubles in each one. All right, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 1 double in each of the next 5 stitches. And then we'll do 2 double in these next 4 stitches. All right, row 2 should be 34 stitches. So count those, and then again we'll slip stitch to that top of the chain 3. All right, for row 3, again we'll chain 3. Double crochet in the seam stitch. I'm going to do 2 double crochet 3 more times. And these next 5 stitches, we'll do 1 double in each of them. And now we're going to do 2 double crochets in each of those 12 stitches. So 2 double in each stitch 12 times. one in each of the next 5 stitches. Two, 4, 5, 2 double crochets 8 times. That means 2 doubles in each of the next 8 stitches. And that's what it looks like at the end of row 3. You should have 58 doubles. So let's count them. Puts us on to row 4, which gets a lot easier. So first we're going to slip stitch in that chain 3 again. Slip stitch. We're going to chain 3 and then do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around, and your end count will be 58 doubles. So let's go into the next one. All right, so for row 4, do that, go all the way around. Rows 5 through 7 will be a repeat of row 4. So row 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 4 rows, 1 double in each stitch all the way around, slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, and chain 3 again. So I'll meet you back up at row 8. At the end of row 7, you should have noticed that things are taking shape. You should still have 58 stitches. So if you've counted them and slip stitch into the chain 3, you are ready for row 8. Now I went ahead and prepared. This is going to be a slight increase row. So we're pretty much going to do 2 doubles, a bunch of a bunch of double crochets, 1 per stitch, and then where I've marked there's going to be 2 doubles. So basically we will chain 3, do a double crochet in the very same stitch. Then I'm going to double crochet 1 time in the next 21 stitches. All right, that's 21. I'll pull the stitch marker out of the 22nd stitch there, and I will do 2 doubles here. I'm going to do 1 double in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two doubles in the next stitch. And then 1 in each of the next 21 stitches. Two doubles in this 22nd stitch. And again on this end, 1 double for the remaining 6 stitches. All right. So you basically added 4 doubles. You had 58 before, you added 4. So your stitch count should be 62 doubles. Count them and slip stitch into this chain 3. And then row 9 is going to be, so you'll chain 3. And then do 1 double in each stitch around. So the end of row 9 will be 62 stitches again. All right, I'll see you at the end. I joined with my slip stitch. I confirmed I have a count of 62. Row 10 will be another increase row. We're going to start with the chain 3. And do another double in this very same stitch. Then we're going to do 23 doubles in a row all the way across. On the 24th stitch, do 2, 6 doubles, then do another 2. On the other side, do 23 doubles, do 2 in this stitch marker, and in the end you'll have 6 left to do just 6 doubles. And that's your row 10, ending with 66 count double crochets. All right, on the 24th stitch, here's where we do the 2 doubles. Six more doubles in a row. Two in the next. $23 doubles in a row. 2 in the next. And then 6 more in a row. Alrighty. Slip stitch. Check, make sure you get 66 stitches. And then row 11 is going to be 1 double all the way around. So you chain 3 plus 65 doubles, and that's row 11. Row 12 will be another increase row. So like the others, chain 3, double in the same stitch. This row you'll count out 25 doubles in a row, 2 doubles, 6 in a row, 2 doubles, and on this side again 25 in a row, 2 doubles. That leaves you with 6 left over. And at the end of row 12, your count will be 70. All right, row 12 ends with 70 count. Row 13 is another easy one. Chain 3 and do 69 more doubles around, giving you again a count of 70. See you at row 14. Row 14, that is another increase row, but it's the last one. So again, we'll do a chain 3 here. I slip stitched. We'll do a chain 3, do another double in the same stitch, do 1 double and the next 27 stitches, do a double here, 1 double for the next 6, do a double in the next one, and then again 27 doubles in a row on that side. Come around to the back again, 2 doubles, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles, slip stitch, end row 14, your count will be 74, and then rows 15, 16 through 20. So that's what, 6 more rows of just 1 double all the way around. Just repeat the even rows and end up with a stitch count of 74. And then I'll come back and show you how to make just how I made a tie to hold it around the headrest. Okay, for the tie at the bottom, or the pull cord, I chained 100, and then just slip stitch into each chain all the way back across, and it gives you a good size, something to grab onto. So do that all the way, and I'll show you how I attached it to the base. Okay, at the bottom, I didn't have to do anything special. The double crochet stitches are plenty big enough to get this through the in-betweens. So what I did is I fed it in, it came all the way around, just every 3 stitches. And it was just easy enough to just do it with my hands. So 3 that way, 3 this way, and then actually this number worked out perfectly, where when I came through and I was finished, they kind of ended up like that. So, I mean, you don't even really need to have this, but I thought it looked good. When you put it on the headrest and you pull it a little bit, it kind of gives the head a little a little shape to it, make it a little more round. The laughing crying emoji has kind of a large mouth. We'll do 6 rows. Most of them will be the right side. I think there's one row that's the wrong side, so that is depicted. We're starting with a chain of 31, and then we'll slip stitch 2 times, starting in the second chain from the hook will be the first, and then the next chain will be the second. 1 single crochet 10 times. Nine and 10, if I counted right. 1 half double crochet 6 times. One single again 10 times. Nine. And after the 10th one, we'll have 2 chains left. Yes, and we're going to slip stitch in each one of them. That gives us 30 stitches. We're not going to turn the work. We're going to work around back to the bottom side here. So I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch 2 times. So that's the very first chain. We'll slip stitch in there. Whoops. Yep. Two. Single crochet 2 together. So we'll go through the stitch, grab a loop, go into the next stitch, grab a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we'll do 1 single crochet 6 times. You kind of have to turn it over and look to, when you're crocheting in the bottom, you have to make sure you get both loops there. All right, that was 2. 2, 4, 6. Single crochet 2 together, insert hook, grab a loop, insert hook, grab a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we want to do a half double crochet 6 times. So yarn over, insert, grab a loop, grab a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. All right, that's 1. Let's do 5 more. All right, that is 6. We'll single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 6 times. Six. We're going to single crochet 2 together again. And finish this with 2 slip stitches, 1 in each of the last 2. There we go. 1, and the last one's difficult. You know, and let me just say, you don't have to be particular if you don't want to be on these corners, because the teardrop, when you sew this all together, the teardrop is going to cover the corner of the mouth. So, all right, we've got it taken shape. That is round 2, or row 2. I'm going to check this off and we'll move on to row 3. You should have 26 stitches after row 2. So row 3 is where we're going to turn our work to the wrong side, and we're going to work this 1 row. I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain, a second stitch from the hook. Slip stitch in the next. Single crochet in the next. Single crochet 2 together. Insert, grab your yarn, insert in the next, grab your yarn, yarn over, pull through 3. Let's do 2 half doubles. Now we're going to do a half double 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, insert your hook, grab a loop, yarn over, pull through. Let's do 2 half doubles. We'll do another half double, 2 together. Technically, you're supposed to do another yarn over before that, but I'm not. All right, 2 half doubles in the next 2 stitches. Another half double, 2 together. This is where you can yarn over if you like. Okay, and 2 half doubles. Single crochet 2 together. One single crochet. And then we will slip stitch. Skip and then slip stitch into the last one. So we're going to end up with 19 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. Okay, I cut off the light brown here, the beige, whatever color you want to call it. We're going to add the dark brown. Chain 1, turn your work, we're going back to the right side. And we're going to single crochet in each stitch across. So single crochet 19 times. All right, count that. Make sure you've got 19, and we will move on to the next row. But don't cut the brown, okay? So we're gonna just hold this here for basically row 6. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the white. We're gonna go back to over here. We're gonna add the white. We're gonna do a row of the teeth, end the white. We'll pick this brown back up, and we'll go all the way around with the dark brown. All right, I counted my brown single crochets. I've got 19. I put a stitch marker in to save my place because we're going to pick up this brown again. So just don't cut that off. We're going to go back over to the side here, like I mentioned, and we're going to start that row with a standing double crochet. So put a slip knot on your hook. Kind of try to hold this tail. You yarn over, just hold it. I'm going to go into the stitch that first single crochet. If I got both loops here, one, got both loops. All right, grab that working side, yarn over, pull through. You get 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now if you want, you can just join the white yarn and chain 3. All right, we are going to double crochet all the way across. So you'll end up with 19 double crochets. I think I mentioned we are making the teeth. All right, you can cut that white off, be done with it. That was your row 5. See, we're on the right side. We are going to pick up the brown. And we'll do a single crochet down the left side. And then we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch around the bottom. These ends can be a little tricky with the slip stitches that we did, a little tight. All right, so I did one in each stitch. Again, a single crochet up the side of the mouth. To get back up to the top here. And like I mentioned, you don't have to be too picky because the ends of the mouth are going to be covered by the teardrop. So go into the stitch, single crochet. I'm going to do 2 here to get me around the corner. And you're going to do 1 single crochet across the top of each tooth. And now we'll just single crochet on this side here to get to the beginning. And then you can join, I'm going to do 2 in here. And you can just slip stitch and tie it off. All right, on this last one here, I would leave a really long tail so that you can sew the mouth on to the base and get all the way around. So leave something really long. All these others, you can just kind of tie in the back here. You're not going to see it once you sew it. And that's what your mouth looks like. All right, the teardrop. It's basically 4 rows. We start with a chain 8. And the first 2 are going to be slip stitches. So we're going to start 1 slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and then the next. And you might find it helpful to put kind of a piece of yarn as a marker. And when you do your slip stitches, try not to do them too tight. They're the worst for working into, and we will work into it again. So just keep that in mind. So that is 1, 2, 1 single crochet, 2 half doubles, a double crochet in the next, and then your very last chain here, we're going to do 6 double crochets in the same one. Got it a little loose. Do that again. All right, that is 3, 6. Now we're going to work up the back side. In the next stitch we'll do a double crochet. We'll do a half double in the next 2. A single in the next. Two slip stitches. 1, 2, and then we want to do a slip stitch in the beginning chain. All right, that gets me to the top. Now row 2, we'll slip stitch 2 times. Actually, let me just count. You should have 19. Just count them and make sure. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and that's the 19th. So I'm going to pull that white piece out and use it again. So slip stitch again 2 times. This can be a little wonky. All right, you stay there. There we go. One, two. We're going to do 2 singles. 1, 2. Now we're going to do 1 half double. And then we're going to do 2 half doubles 8 times. 2 in each stitch. Ooh. All right, that's the first 2. All right, one more set. All right, 8. 1 half double in the next. A single crochet in the next. Do that twice. And then we'll slip stitch 2 times, 1 in each of the last stitches here. 1, 2. And then I'm going to do 1 slip stitch in the top here. If I can get in there. There we go. Okay, you can see it taking shape. We ended at the very top, last stitch of the row. This is the one we have left here, the very first one with the yarn marker, stitch marker. You should have 27 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and 27. So let's grab our darker blue yarn and start the next row, which will be row 3. Okay, I cut off the light blue. We're finished with that. I've got the darker blue attached. I'm going to chain 1, and row 3 is going to start with 5 slip stitches, 1 in each of the next 5 stitches. So we'll start with this one here. That's 1. Remember to give yourself, make them a little bit looser so that you can get into them again for the last row. And you won't have to fiddle as much like I am. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do a single crochet and 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. Move to half double crochets. We'll do 2 in the next 10 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, single crochet, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. That leaves 5 slip stitch and 1 each in the last 5 stitches. That's my 5th one. And I'm also going to slip stitch in the very top. I'm going to try hard to get in there. All right. Oops. That is row 3. Row 4 and our final row for the teardrop is going to be a reverse single crochet. It gives it a little bit of texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards, insert your hook to the slip stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through. If you've never done this before, it just seems a little strange, but you'll get used to it. Find your way of holding it. It's also called the crab stitch. I think I did a video on this. So just find your way to get into the previous stitch. Pull your yarn up, complete your single crochet. Do 1 in each stitch all the way around. All right, and right back to where we started. You can tie that in, be complete. Moving on to the eyes. Start with a chain 15, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, single crochet in the next, do a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, one double crochet 6 times, one in each of the next 6 stitches. All right, that's number 6. 2 half doubles, a single, and a slip stitch. All right, that is one eye. Make 2 of those. For the eyebrows, start with a chain 10, slip stitch 3 times, starting from the into the second chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we'll slip stitch into the last 3 chains. All right. Make 2 of those. And remember to leave long tails for sewing to the base. Here's the icon, Laughing Crying Emoji. And I've already sewn on the mouth, the 2 eyes, the eyebrows. I have 1 tear pinned ready to go, and the other one. So like I was telling you before, the teardrop goes from the eye and it covers the corner of the mouth. So that's what it'll look like when it's all sewn together. Hope you had fun making it.